Good evening. My name is Jose Manuel Martinez, and I'm going to present the history of human rights. So, 2350 before Christ, Urukagina reform. The Urukagina reforms are mostly known for its reforms to combat corruption. Therefore, they are sometimes cited as the first legal code. Their code gives greater support to later codes such as Hammurabi, Lipit Ishta, etc. In these stages, the penalty for the adultery well developed. There were rules and punishments. On the rights of women, children, and slaves, and religious freedom was proclaimed. For example, Code of Ur-Nammu, 2050 before Christ. It was the first written legal code that is known. This was based on a legal system that established specialist judges, testimony on the oath, and the power of judges to order compensation for damage to the guilty party. Code of Hammurabi, 1780 before Christ. Hammurabi's code consisted of a set of 282 sentences on varied set of topics. These topics cover crimes against people, economic, commercial, civil, etc. Despite the name it received at the time it was discovered, it is not considered a code in the strict sense because it does not encompass all Babylonian laws. Conquest of Babylon, 539 before Christ. Originally, people had rights only because of their membership in a group, such as family. In 539 before Christ, Cyrus the Great, after conquering the city of Babylon, he did something totally unexpected. He gave freedom to all the slaves to return home. Also, he declared people should choose their own religion. Cyrus Cylinder, a clay tablet containing his statement, it's the first human rights declaration in history. The Magna Carta, 1215. The Magna Carta was the most significant early influence in the historical process that led to the current constitutional law in English-speaking world. This arose from King John of England, violation a number of ancient laws and traditions with which he had been ruled in England. His subjects forced him to sign the Magna Carta, which lists what later became to be considered human rights. In these stages, human rights are expanded with the concept of natural right. For example, Petition of Right, 1628, is considered an important English constitutional document which established specific guarantees for subjects that can be violated by anyone, not even by the king. Its origin is between Parliament and King Charles I of England due to the performance in the War of 30 Years. American Declaration of Independence, 1776. The United States Declaration of Independence includes the concept of natural rights. It states that all human beings are equal and have inalienable rights such as the right to life and liberty. French Revolution, 1789. At this stage, the human rights that were established in the Declaration of Independence of America were expanded, and it is also emphasized that such a right are natural, spreading the idea of human rights throughout Europe. In these last stages, the term human rights appears for the first time, and the fundamental human rights that will be protected for the development of human beings are established. For example, founding Charter of the United Nations and appearance of the term 1945. The Charter of the United Nations is the founding document of the United Nations in a multilateral treaty. It was signed on 26 June 1945 in San Francisco. In this document, it is the first time that the term human rights appears. And Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. On December 10, 1948, the UN Assembly in Paris established for the first time in the history the fundamental human rights that must be protected throughout the world. And well, here's a map of the development of human rights. Well, that's all for me. Thanks for watching.